Today we're doing Module 5, Lesson 6, and today we're going to take everything we've ever learned about volume and use it to find the volume of more complex figures, maybe things that aren't just one rectangular prism, okay? But first, let's talk about the problem of the day. Let me ask you a question. Partner 1, what was the volume of your structure again? 12 cubic centimeters. That's the green part on these pictures, okay? Partner 2, what was the volume of your structure?
8 cubic centimeters.
Okay. What's the volume of your combined structure? 20 cubic centimeters. How do you know, with the quiet answer hand, how do you know that the combined volume is 20 cubic centimeters? Haley?
Because 12 plus 12 is 24, and you just have to minus.
Or 12 plus 8 is 20. How many cubes are there all together on your structure right now? How many blocks? 20. Take a minute right now with your partner to count them. Because we know that there's 20 cubes, that means the volume of this structure is 20 what? Cubic centimeters. Now, if I arrange these blocks differently, does that change the volume? Why not? Like I'm going to now I'm going to put it together like this. How come, what's the volume now? 20 cubic centimeters. How come the volume didn't change? Turn and tell your partner. Sanjana, I love how you said the volume doesn't change no matter how I arrange it because I'm not adding any blocks. I'm also not taking away any blocks. So how many blocks are in this one right here? 20 blocks. How many blocks are here?
20.
How about here?
20.
How about here?
20.
I'm going to ask you a different question. What's the volume of this one?
20 cubic centimeters.
Very nice. How could we find the volume of this prism? Well, let's think about it in terms of area. So let's find the area of, let's do this one. Let's find the area of this face right here. Okay, in order to find the area of that face, we need this length, which is what? 3, times this length, which is what? 7. And then we need to multiply that by the depth, which is? 2. So what's 3 times 7?
21.
Okay, what's 21 times 2?
42.
And what would my units be?
Cubic meters.
Cubic meters, because each length is a meter, okay? So the volume of this prism is 42 cubic meters. Imagine now that I built that prism and then I stuck 2 of them together. What would the volume be if there was 2 of them? And in this picture, there's space in between because I wasn't able to draw them together. But imagine that they were drawn right next to each other. So there's this prism, right? And then you have another one right next to it that has the exact same measurements, like that. What would the volume be of that combined structure? Everyone? 84. I didn't see anyone write anything down in their notebook. How did you know it was going to be 84 cubic meters? Jithya?
Since one of the prisms is 42 meters cubic meters,
Uh-huh.
then if you have 2, it's the same thing. They have the same units and
So I know that I have 2 exactly same 42 plus 42 combined would be 84 cubic meters. Very nice. Okay. Just like the example we talked about before, is this like 2 rectangular prisms glued together?
Yeah.
What's different about this one compared to the one we just did, whose volume was 84 cubic meters? Eva? Yeah, this time it's not 2 identical prisms glued together. It's 2 different prisms glued together. There's a prism in the top, and then there's a prism on the bottom. Do you see that? So if we find the volume of each rectangular prism, we can combine them or add them together to find the total volume. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let's first talk about the dimensions of the top rectangular prism. How long is it?
3 inches.
3 inches. Okay. How wide is it?
5 inches.
5 inches. How tall is it?
2 inches.
Very nice. Okay. Let's find the volume later. Let's talk about the dimensions of the bottom prism in red. How long is it?
6 inches. 6 inches.
Okay. How wide is it?
5 inches.
How tall is it?
4 inches.
Very good. What measurement do those 2 prisms have in common? They're both 5 inches wide. Do you see how they line up here? They're both 5 inches wide. They have the same depth. Yeah? Okay, very good. Now let's find the volume. What's 3 times 5?
15.
Times 2?
30
So it's 30 what?
inches.
It's 30 inches?
Square inches.
It's 30 square inches?
Cubic inches.
Okay. What about the bottom one? What's 6 times 5?
30.
Times 4?
120 cubic inches.
Okay. So how can I find the total volume? I have to add up the top volume, 30 cubic inches, with the bottom, 120 cubic inches. So 30 plus 120 is what? What are my units? A lot of us are saying square inches. How do we know it's not square inches, but it's cubic inches? Just ask yourself, how many dimensions are there? 3. So what kind of units are they? Cubic. When I find area, how many dimensions are there? So what kind of units are they? Very good. In this diagram, we can see that there's 3 prisms that make up this complex figure. Yes? A, B, and C. Now, do they give you all the measurements?
No.
They give you the combined height. Do they give you the combined, and do they give you all the measurements for all 3 prisms? Like, for example, do I know the distance from here to here? No. Do I know the distance from here to here? No. Do I know the distance from here to here? Or here to here? Or here to here? I just know that those 3 added up equal 13 inches, right? But what measurements do I have? Do I know the distance from here to here? How can I, what is that distance?
3 inches.
Because this one is the same as this one. Do you see that? Okay. Explain to your neighbor why you know that this measurement is the same as this measurement. Go. I didn't take a picture of the directions, so in the directions it tells you some of the other measurements. It'll say like rectangular prism A is 9 inches long or whatever like that. So you'll have to fill that in. But sometimes we have to be able to recognize pictures and see that this distance, this depth right here, is going to be the same as this depth right here, right? Because however wide it is, it's the same on both sides, which then is going to be the same as this. So sometimes you have to understand how the picture works. Make sense? Very good.